aka Mama Friendly, and I do all sorts of videos on my channel, from cooking videos to planner videos, vlogs, hauls, homeschool videos with a Disney twist, a little bit of everything. So if any of that sounds like fun to you, I hope that you'll subscribe and join me on my YouTube adventure. Speaking of a Disney twist, this video is the latest installment of the cookbook collab hosted by Tamara at Southern Wife Everyday Life, and for months now, I dare say almost years, she's been challenging us every month to dust off our cookbooks and try recipes from them that maybe we haven't tried yet or that we haven't tried in a long time, not only to inspire us to break out our cookbooks more often, but to inspire our viewers as well. And if there's one book that's given me a ton of inspiration this year, it's this one right here. I use this book all the time. I've shared a bunch of recipes from this book, and maybe one day I'll get tired of it, but today is not that day. This is the unofficial Disney Parks cookbook. I'm gonna have it linked down below so you can check it out for yourself if you're interested. But every month this year, I've been showing you guys a different Disney park recipe that I've been adapting to make it gluten and dairy free because I have allergies myself and I love Disney treats. But while Disney's a great place to go with allergies, you can't get every treat adapted to every allergy. So I've made it my mission to take my favorite treats and make them my own so that I could enjoy them once more. This month is no exception, so I'm going to be using this book to show you guys how I made the caramel pecan bars that you can get at the Germany Pavilion in Epcot at Caramel Couche. I might be mispronouncing that, but I've only ever seen it in writing. I've never actually heard it out loud, so my mistake. If you don't have allergies, don't fret. I'm also going to explain the traditional method for making these treats so that if you want to make them exactly how they make them in the park, you can follow along on this video as well. Now, before we jump into the recipe, I want to remind you that because this is a collab, there is a playlist. So in that description box, along with the link to the cookbook, you're going to find a link to Tamara's channel, and you're going to find a link to a playlist so that once you finished watching my video, you can see what all my friends made as well. All right, friends, let's jump right into our caramel pecan bars. Pecan. I'll let y'all duke it out in the comments. All right, my friends, so we have here all of our ingredients that we're going to need for our caramel pecan bars as seen in the Germany Pavilion at Epcot. So we're going to need 8 ounces or 1 cup of salted butter softened. I'm going to be using this plant-based butter, which has been at room temperature for just over an hour. You could use regular butter if dairy-free is not a concern to you. We're going to need a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, although I'm going to be using this gluten-free 1-to-1. Now here's where it differs. If you're going to be using regular dairy stuff, then you would want a 4.5 ounce bag of Werther's Original Soft Caramels unwrapped, and you need 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. I am going to be making my own caramel sauce, and I'm going to show you how I do that to make it completely dairy-free. I don't need to use the condensed milk, but I'm going to anyways. And it may or may not be too runny, but I guess we'll find out together. I was able to find this at my regular local grocery store. It's becoming a lot easier to find dairy-free alternatives to things lately, thank goodness. I might not use the whole can either. This is just a 7.5 ounce can, so about half what the recipe calls for if you were to be using the regular solid caramel candies. But like I said, I just kind of want to play around with it. If it seems to be too runny, then I might back off. We'll see. Then regardless of what sorts of dairy or non-dairy ingredients you're using, you're also going to need a 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. I've got some raw pecans here, but you could use the salted ones if you'd like. And we need a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So first things first, we want to line an ungreased 9x13 baking dish with parchment paper. I like to cut little slits on the corners to make it easier for it to fit in properly. And so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to set it aside. Then I'm going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The recipe says that you should use a stand mixer, but mine recently went kaput. Luckily, my butter is soft enough that I could just use a fork. So in the bowl of your stand mixer or in a regular bowl, add your butter. Remember that was 1 cup of softened salted butter. your half cup of granulated sugar, and your 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Cream these ingredients together well, and then add your 2 cups of flour slowly and mix until well combined. Remember, if you are using a hand mixer or a stand mixer, really do go slowly, otherwise you're gonna get a big poof of flour all over your kitchen. Once everything's well combined, we're gonna press about 2/3 of the dough into the prepared baking dish. I sprayed my spatula with a little bit of cooking spray to make this go a little easier. Once that's handled, we're going to reserve the remaining dough and set our casserole dish aside. Now this is where our instructions are going to deviate. If you're doing the regular traditional version of this recipe, then you're gonna wanna take a medium microwave safe bowl, add your 4.5 ounce bag of Werther's Original Soft Caramels, unwrapped of course, and you're gonna add in your 14 ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, microwave it on high for 1.5 minutes, stir it and microwave an additional minute until caramels are completely melted. At that point, you can stir in your half cup of chopped pecans and your half teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you're going the dairy-free version, then you're gonna wanna take a cup of coconut cream, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and 2 pinches of sea salt, although we're reserving the salt for the end. You're gonna place your coconut cream and your sugar into a saucepan, turn the heat to medium, and bring it to a simmer, stirring to dissolve the sugar and to make sure it does not burn and stick to the bottom. Once it's simmering, we're gonna reduce the heat to low and maintain the simmer for 8 minutes, stirring occasionally, again, because you don't wanna give the sugar a chance to burn. Turn off the heat and stir in the sea salt. Now that our dairy-free caramel is ready, I'm gonna go ahead and stir our half cup of pecans and our 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract right on in here. And I'm thinking maybe about half of this 7 ounce can of coconut condensed milk, just to give it a little bit of that extra coconut flavor, a little bit more sugariness. We'll see how it turns out. We're gonna put our caramel pecan situation over the dough that we have in our pan. Scatter flattened pieces about 1 inch or so in diameter of the leftover batter over the top. So that's kind of gonna create like a topping with the caramel and pecans peeking through as it bakes. Now that we're ready, we're gonna bake until the edges are bubbling and golden brown, which should take about 25 minutes. Once it's looking like this, we're gonna allow it to cool completely for about an hour before cutting it into bars. You can cover and store it in the refrigerator for up to 7 days, or enjoy right now. All right, friends, there you have it. That's how I made my caramel pecan bars allergy friendly, and also how you can make them authentic to the park recipe. So when I had my first bit of this, an hour after I took them out of the oven, I described it to my husband as, imagine you're having a warm pecan pie or pecan pie, but instead of a graham cracker crust or pie crust, it's made on a shortbread cookie. That's what it tasted like to me, and it was delicious. But I will say that the next day, after they've been refrigerated overnight, wow, all of the flavors and textures of the caramel really come together once it's refrigerated, and it just gave me a completely different sensation. It was very much shortbread cookie caramel, like bah, caramel punch to the face with the little bit of pecans kind of just providing a textural contrast. Really, really delicious. So I suggest if you're going to feed these to a crowd, maybe actually make them the night before or the day before, refrigerate them overnight, slice them up and serve them that way. Amazing. So, so, so yummy. And now I can tell you all for certain that that caramel, tried and true, it is perfect for this recipe. It's actually my favorite way to make caramel generally. If you wanted to, you could even just make the caramel sauce and put it on a cookie sheet and refrigerate it that way, and that would give you some soft caramel candies. Now, I can't vouch that that will work that way because I've never done it myself. The recipe that I use says that that's one method you can use though, so I would love to know if you guys decide to try it. Come on back and let me know if it works out for you. And speaking of, if you can think of another Disney World, Disneyland, etc. recipe that you'd like to see me try to adapt to make it gluten and dairy free, let me know about it in the comments. I would love to hear your suggestions. I want to thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope that you will please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. See you real soon.